So, do you remember the first album you ever bought?
Bought. I remember the first album I got.
Okay.
Yeah. This was I was maybe 8 years old, I guess. I mean, that was my first CD because before was some cassettes still. That was a CD with Beethoven sonatas, and I had no idea what is it. And the piano player was really good because it was Daniel Barenboim.
Okay.
So I started to listen, I put it on, and I really fell in love because it was my first time that I really somehow was really inspired and impressed by just piano piece, right? So it was like this classic Moonlight Sonata, Appassionata, and so on. But I still remember like how impressed I was. Yeah.
Who gave you this album?
Actually, I don't remember. I guess either my parents or aunt, something like older guys. Yeah.
So can I assume you weren't playing the piano yet?
I was, but
Okay.
you know, when I was 8 years, it was still like a beginner. I attended music school, but like Beethoven and this kind of pieces were still not possible with my, with my piano playing then.
And you say it was very inspiring to hear him. What did you hear in his music and in his in the playing and in kind of the music of Beethoven? What appealed to you?
First of all, it sounded so good on the piano. It sounded so rich, so many emotions. I don't know. I loved everything about it. That it's so varied. There are these very calm moments, very dramatic, very rhythmic, happy. I don't know. It was just everything all together. I just totally fell in love.
And you're 8 years old at this point, and so it's a little bit difficult. But what was your plan with music? How did you see music going forward?
When I was 8.
Yeah, did you always know you wanted to pursue music?
Of course not. But it started quite early when I realized that I really want to do it. I didn't consider it as a job. I more considered it as a dream.
Okay.
So I was 10 years old, and I thought I want to be a pianist. And I started to practice on my own quite a lot. Then I become really obsessed somehow. I mean, it became my passion very quickly. So yeah, it was. I really also remember this moment that because before my parents had to push me a bit, and then when I was 10 years old, it was like in Poland it's for the 4th class of primary school, and then I really thought this is what I want to do.
Your skills, did they develop easier?
Okay. Understand. Of course not. Altogether, I studied almost 20 years.
Okay.
So I started, around when I was 6. So it took a lot of time. At some moment, I practiced even 8 hours a day. It was like really sports training. So of course, it's very difficult, and that's why maybe at one point in one moment I thought I don't want to spend life like this, just stuck in a practice room all the time and still being frustrated that you are not so perfect in performing other people's masterpieces. Still, there are masterpieces. So yeah, it was a bit too much. But on the other hand, I got these skills that I would never get it now because I'm too old. Because as a child, you were, growing up so quickly, making progress much quicker, and also your body is, I guess, more flexible. So this is like priceless.
Okay. Well, you mentioned something interesting because you're playing other people's masterpieces, like you say. When did your own melodies, when did they kind of
Come.
Yeah.
They were always somehow on a side, but I never thought about it because when you are in music school, nobody even asks you about your own compositions or something, especially when you are directed to just instrumental performance. But then still I was doing something at home, just as a warm-up or something. And one day my friend asked me to rearrange her song for strings.
Okay.
And I had no idea how to write music for cello or violin, or how to arrange or whatever. And the song was like a pop song. But I said yes, because I wanted to try. And that changed everything, because I started to learn, I started to seek how to do it, and started to write my own tunes, and started to think about it. And then I totally switched to performing just my music in the end. Yeah.
Because I can imagine all your life you must have heard pop music all around, and then were you into other kinds of music than piano music, or was it just mainly the classics? And
not. I was really into other kind of music, listening a lot. My parents also listened. My father showed me Pink Floyd, the Beatles, like these classic things. But still, it was always for me very natural that there was classical music mixed very easily with some jazz, with pop, with whatever, then electronic music. And I never see borders, and I never see any, dissonance listening to very varied genres. Yeah.
And you mentioned playing your own music. Does it feel different when you play something that you have written yourself in comparison to playing something by Beethoven?
Yeah, it is like very easy example when you say something that you have in your mind, that you created in your mind, and you must tell, for example, a poem. You always must think a bit more about the second example. So it's just more natural, it's easier. You don't think too much, you just do it. It's like with your own language, so you don't need to recall things so much. It's very easy, it's direct. Yeah.
So in terms of writing then, is it true for writing then as well? When you compose your own music, can you just sit at the piano and then just try and see what comes out?
I work like this. I improvise a lot at home while working, and I try not to think too much while improvising. Just feel, I don't know, the music, the mood, whatever. And then if I record also a lot, and then when I listen to it and I find the nice motifs, then I work on them.
You say mood. Does your mood have a lot of effect on what type of music comes out?
No.
No?
No, actually it's not so connected. I'm more into just music.
Okay.
Sometimes I can be really, happy and write really sad tunes. I don't connect it so much. Of course, when I perform and the music is easily recognized as melancholic, then I also feel it. But when composing, I'm not like, today I'm so sad or miserable, and I would just write this kind of songs. No, not really.
Okay.
Yeah.
And when you're composing, when do you know? You say you're looking for certain motifs, and so when do you know when you're onto something, when you have something good that you want to pursue? What are you looking for in your composition?
I just like it. It's no big philosophy behind it. I think, of course, I'm always looking for something new. So when by coincidence something new show up, then I'm always happy and curious. Oh, that is something really different from what I am doing normally. So I'm always looking for something new, because also even when composing, you can still get repetitive, right? It's also easy to know your favorite scales, your favorite harmonies, and then and know that it works, so only use them. So this is very dangerous, and I'm always happy to. That's why I found improvising so useful somehow.
It's kind of challenging yourself.
Yeah.
If we take, for instance, today it came. which is the instrumental part. Do you remember when you wrote that?
You know why it's called Today It Came? Because it came just in. This is totally improvised piece.
Okay.
It is a nice story because I was then in Reykjavik recording other pieces with Bergur Porison. He's also performing tomorrow on Friday here in Eurosonic. And he has a studio at the same place as Olafur Arnold. So we went to Olafur's studio, and there is a grand piano. And it's very beautiful, but it's very old, and the mechanism is very slow. And I sat there. We were supposed to record there some other pieces, but I said no. You cannot play so fast, for example, or so rhythmic on this piano. And I just say, it must be something like choral, like chords and stuff. And I just play this piece. So that's why we call it Today It Came, because it just came that day.
Okay, oh, that's very interesting.
Yeah.
So is that kind of a way to tell that it's good when it just comes like this?
I believe so, because it's something more. I really believe in intuition, and when, for example, I love to observe jazz musicians because they are really putting themselves from this comfort zone. They are trying to reach this very strange area somehow, and that's what I lack in classical music sometimes, or even pop music. That it's so planned, so organized, and these moments of So I think that's very interesting in a way.
Well, you mentioned something interesting because you have the pop world, you have the classical world. Where do you, and it's not like you have to choose, like you say, you don't really see those boundaries, but where do you see the type of music that you make fit in this landscape?
I would say that I am using piano, so acoustic instrument, but maybe inspired by electronic ambient a bit, because I find this sometimes these moods are very like flat or something like this. So I would, actually I listen a lot to electronic music, but more like ambient or this like soft techno or something like this. So I guess that if you put it in this piano sound and piano possibilities, that could be something like this. Still, I don't know. Yeah, still it's very acoustic, but like thinking about spaces, about.
Let me ask you differently. Do you see yourself writing, for instance, film scores, that kind of direction?
Of course, I would love. I did a little this year. I did for a theater play, but that was also how to say that you shot it as a movie.
Yeah.
So how do you call it? Sorry. There is maybe a word for it, but you understand.
Yes.
Yes, and for a couple of small videos or short etudes. So it's always interesting. It's also very inspiring, I think, for every composer, because you must somehow get to the mood. And also it's very easy to get too much melancholic, for example, while playing on piano or strings, composing for strings. So you must be very aware how to balance it with an image. Yeah.
Where do you see your next step? Are you thinking about an album? Are you thinking about, like you say, maybe a theater production type thing? What is next for you?
So yeah, I'm soon releasing first album, but it will be maybe surprising or no, maybe not very surprising, but for me it's surprising because in the end it's just piano solo, minimalistic, quite minimalistic album, and the plan is to record very quickly the second one with other arrangements for strings, some electronic singing as well. So I hope to manage to do it even this year, quite quick. Yeah, to show all the stuff that I like, like to do. Yeah, and and in 20 years, hopefully, some production and film scoring, because that you can do even when you are very old.
Fair. Well, you mentioned something interesting. This first album, do you have a title that you can
Esja.
share? Okay. I don't.
It's a name of a mountain in Reykjavik.
Okay. And well, you mentioned it's going to be very minimalistic, so no vocals. But you have done songs with vocals. So for you, where's what is the interest in doing vocals as well for you?
I don't know. It just happened also.
Okay.
As many stuff in my life, and I have also another project that I sing quite a lot.
Okay.
It's Polish project Tęskno, means longing in English. So I also start. Somehow also my music is quite melodic. You can reach these melodies on the piano or strings or whatever. So yeah. So it just somehow I tried, but I'm not like, I don't want also to feel like, I never would say I'm a singer.
Okay.
I never would say. I can sing from time to time, and but rather pianist. First of all, pianist.
But what did you think about writing lyrics then?
Also, in my case, it always comes from music, because when I write pieces, I record it also with like fake melodies and fake language. It's like I say always when I send my sketches to other people, when we work together, it's like it's my own language there. So don't be surprised. But it's, yeah, I always write lyrics to music, not music to, or I don't know. So home, it was like my first, because it always takes a bit from English, like this my own language when I try stuff. So the home was the first word that came to me. Like somehow it fits to rhythm and everything, and then I was trying how to. So I don't know. I maybe the music just come to me somehow. I don't know.
But so the second album will be more vocals.
Yeah, because I written so much stuff already. Also here I performed some songs, and yeah, let's try this.
Well, can't wait to see what you come up with.
Thanks so much.
Thank you very much for your time. Thank you.
Thank you.